I'm asking myself questions like, why did I do it? Why did this happen to me? Then I said, you can get through it. You just have to believe what I do now. Gotta make it all count. So why not me?
Good evening, good people, and welcome to another episode of Intentionally Spoken with your girl, your host, your intentionality midwife in life, Shawan Sharika. Thank you for joining me once again. I'm super excited to jump into tonight's topic, so let's dive in. We're going to talk about intentionality as it concerns to finding purpose in the pain of your past. So I want to switch that also and say sometimes there's not pain in your past, but sometimes there's just parts of your past that you need to understand and find purpose in. So that's two layered there. What I also want to uncover for you is that if you do not pursue that purpose that lies within your pain from your past, then you stand the chance of having that pain and or past devour your prosperity, your peace, your presence, the future, and everything therein. That's what stands a chance of being lost at the hands of not understanding the pain of your past and or pain and your past. So here's what I want you to do. Just think for one moment. If you could think about 5 things from your past that still kind of leaves you not sure what that was about, not sure what I was supposed to do with that. Think of those 5 things. Go as far as even writing them down. And what I want you to do is truly try to understand why it had to happen. And I'm challenging you to do that because it's going to broaden your perspective of a thing. Sometimes it's difficult to accept something when we don't have understanding behind it. And to know why something was to happen is to prepare yourself to use it in the future. So when you talk about pain, that could be a physical pain, it could be an emotional pain, a spiritual pain. We experience different types of pain all the time, every day, day in, day out. How that pain affects you versus me or someone else is totally subjective. And when something is subjective, you have to do your personal work because you are the subject, right? Makes sense. So in doing that work, that means you have to be willing to dig back a little bit, get a little uncomfortable with what you may uncover. And sometimes we don't like to look at ourselves as being a little dysfunctional for some, a little unstable for others. And some of us are just so close-fisted and tight. And I'm going to say the big word. It's an F word. It's a saved F word. Let me say that. Forgiveness. That's a big F word. It is impossible to move forward without having forgiven, one, people who have done you wrong, you, when you've done yourself wrong, and then the other thing is you have to forgive what didn't happen. Things that didn't happen in your past, you cannot bring them into the future because it didn't happen then. That's when you wanted it, that's when you needed it. You have to come to a place of acceptance. Acceptance of what did or didn't happen is necessary. It's vital. If you're going to prosper, if you're going to walk in peace, if you're going to get past the pain of your past and or your pain and your past, you have to be willing to do the hard work. One of my favorite people is Ayanna Van Zandt. I love her because she gets in the thick of things. I love it. I love self-work. It's truly a passion of mine, thus being Intentionally Spoken podcast. I wanted to be able to do that with a group of people. How do you do that? With more than one person at one time, reach the masses, and we all win together. Podcast, right? I love her because her show doesn't just sit on the surface. She challenges her guests to go back, and she's okay with them getting upset with her, which I totally respect because it's necessary. Usually in the end, they're thanking her, hugging her. She's calling them baby and they're calling her mama bear or something along those lines. It's a happy, happy, joy, joy because it was necessary. So many adults are walking around with pain and past issues, vicissitudes, anger, unforgiveness that's holding them up from getting to where they need to be. And it's insane to believe that I myself, am standing in front of my prosperity, my peace, my purpose, and my passions, but I can't step over there because I'm being held up by what happened that's behind me. That's crazy. I'm being literally pulled back, but I see my future right there. What needs to happen? You need to take the necessary steps to move forward so that you can get to where you need to be, which is to live in peace, live in prosperity, live in your purpose, and find your passion. Let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, that thing that you're passionate about is directly correlated to the pain from your past, or truly just pain, period. You generally have passion for people, places, and things where you can relate and have had that personal experience, where you have been impacted in such a way that it changed the trajectory of your life, your perceptions, your perspectives, just everything about you did a 360. It was truly a game changer. So you have to want to do that for you. You are your greatest champion. If you don't do it for you, you cannot expect anyone else to do it for you. You have to do it. You have to be willing. And I always tell people, if you don't do it for you, then no one else will, period. And so I am here again just to encourage and empower you to walk in that. It's going to be uncomfortable. It will. I promise you it will. I promise. That's a promise. I'm telling you up front, it will. However, don't tap out. Don't tap out. Don't be the wrestler on the mat. Don't tap out. Stand above that thing. And guess what? When you do that, you take your power back, because as long as you are not forgiving your past, as long as you're living in your past, you are powerless over that thing. And you know what else? No one else can hold that thing over you because you've already accepted it. You've done your work, you're walking in it, you're looking at prosperity and peace and passion and purpose right in front of you. So you know it's within reach because you've already come too far because the pain is behind you. So if you literally think about things in that way, you will have no other choice but to propel gracefully broken. I love that song. I love that phrase. Gracefully broken into where your true breakthrough relies. So in realizing that's where your breakthrough is, you will then begin to live your most authentic life, unapologetically, intentionally. And when doing that, you become comfortable with talking about the things that used to keep you captive, the things that once had your tongue bound, the things that once had your purpose bound. You become free to be liberated in such a way where you don't care what people say and think about you, because you know that it is you who has done the work. And now this new version of you is a version that you haven't seen before, and neither has anyone else. There's great freedom in that. There's great liberty in that. And I just want you to be able to do that. So that's tonight's episode. I wish you all will join me for next week's episode, where we're going to talk about some more intentionality in life. I'm your midwife in life and intentionality, Shawan Sharika. Have a wonderful night.
I can make it. I can take it. I won't break. No, no.